Libra, hey, thanks for dropping in with me. We are here to dive into your collective energy, the energy that's holding down the South Node at this time, as we enter in through this transformational gateway that really will usher in a whole year of alchemy. It's alchemy of the soul, it's alchemy of life as we know it, really moving into that place of partnership with life and creating a new way forward. It's not just for us. What we set in motion at this time, it may seem like it's just about us, but it's not actually. It's about the collective, and you really have to sort of take that in right now with you being at the South Node, sort of weighing up those scales, balancing out the karma on the level of holding that space for the collective to find that sense of balance. There is a certain responsibility in holding down the fort in that regard. And so this is a message that the collective can really benefit from here. But I did get this really cool energy that came in for you, which was clean slate, okay? And I've had Hawk already come in this morning. Hawk's been really active for the past few days. Hawk is associated with the sign of Aries, which is in the North Node position, your mirror, your opposite, your balancing point, you could say, okay? So there's something really coming in here around this energy at this time. I feel like the decks have been cleared, Libra. I do feel like there is karma that's been balanced out. I feel like you're entering a time now where you have absolutely no regrets. Things feel like they're as they need to be. And even with the web that's outside, there's nothing on the web today. There's not a spider on the web. There's nothing caught up in the web. It's just this clean, fresh web of connectivity, of creativity. I feel like you are really about to expand your reach, your community. You're about to enter into a highly creative time. I even noticed outside today that there's a lot that's starting to come into bloom, which is really cool. And with the hawk medicine that came in, I have to say that there is this energy of you're about to receive your directive. All right. So it's time to pay attention to what's going on around you. It's time to look for the signs. It's time to know which way the wind blows so you know where it's asking you to be carried. And it is about asking you to be carried, okay? This is not about forcing your way through. I think that you are following your own flow, you know? You're following your own flow. You're trusting where life is carrying you. There's been a real release, a real balancing of things out that at one time seemed very prominent to you, like they had, you know, some kind of tethering that connected you to what was. And I feel like, you know, you've let that go and you're just trusting where you're being led. You know, you'll end up where you're meant to be. I also got a message that came in about something that you had a vision of before. You kind of put it on the shelf. It's been gathering some dust, and yet you already received a certain directive. You were already told that you were supposed to fulfill something, and you sort of like set it aside. Do look for signs to start coming through that are telling you that it's time to get on it with this, all right? It's time to actually devote some time, energy, awareness, attention around this, okay? You need to hone in your focus. You may not realize the bridge that it is for your future and for others who will be crossing that bridge with you, okay? Not sure what that's about, but that's how it's coming in. This is for any significant Libra placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, prominent 7th house placement, or if you're in Aries rising, that makes you a Libra Descendant. It's also for the collective as a whole. I really think that this is something that can benefit everyone right now, since we're all moving through that collective Libra South Node challenge, okay? The challenge, what are we going to do? Are we going to be down for the count, or are we going to rise? Bottom of the deck, I think we're going to rise. Do you see what I mean? It's like, it's this energy That's the energy that's coming through for Libra right now. It's like, I've cleared the decks. The way is through. You've pushed everything aside as if it were minor. That's what it feels like. It may seem like that to outsiders. It's not that you're taking things flippantly. It's not about that. It's actually that you truly trust your path. You truly have faith that where you're going is where you're meant to go. And whatever you find there is what you're meant to find. There's a new sense of faith that has come through having to fall back on yourself so many times that you learn to really believe in yourself. You learn to trust that own voice of yours that kind of like pulled you through some particularly challenging times, right? Where you had to just tune out anything outside of yourself. You really had to get in touch with your soul's essence to know about your next steps. And you know where you're heading. It brings you into a place of unity. It brings you into this place of alignment with the path you're meant to be on. You know that every day you step in this direction, I feel spontaneously, it's like you're learning a new flow. You're able to just trust the flow of your life a lot more because you reached a point, Libra, where you went through what you went through and it was so rough. Eventually you had to let go and say, okay, I don't know. I don't know. Show me the way. I feel like the way is being shown for you. It's like once you really came to that place of acceptance and release, all the decks have been cleared. And there's some appreciation coming in for you too about the way you faced a particular challenge. And this is you just moving on through to that unity point. And you know, you're guarded along the way with a lot of love and a lot of protection. And you do have people that do root for you, even if you may not be aware of that, or you may feel kind of isolated from that. You do have people who understand what you've been moving through. They've seen the challenges you've moved through. They've seen how you've handled it. And they are holding that space. And they're holding that space in such a way that they're really letting you kind of like, you know, just have this moment. Have this moment to fully own your path, step into your healing, step into what you're ready to move into now, you know, 8:08 on the clock. Okay, so you're on the right track. You just need to keep heading where you're heading here. This is a good energy. You know, it's no resistance. Let's see what wants to come in here for you, Libra. Let's just get a baseline of the energy. So we're coming into some place of unity here, Libra. Let's see what we're coming into a place of unity with. It's a clean slate, all right? Anything's possible from here. Bottom of the deck, King of Wands. So maybe there's a unifying point with that Aries North node it makes me think of. I do think there's some bold action that's about to be taken here. There is going to be focus about what we're aiming for here. All right, that Spirilu energy aligned with the truth in the flow. And I think there's some opportunity to shoot your shot toward a particular dream. And again, I think it's something that's getting dusted off. Like, you know that you were supposed to head in a certain direction. You know that there's something you're supposed to be focusing on. Some of you have already gotten an assignment from Spirit. You know what you're supposed to be doing now. You had to, because of necessity, maybe sort of like divide your time in other areas, or life just happened. You got caught up in everything that, you know, you were closing out. But there is something that is coming into alignment here. It could be with the fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And I think there's somebody coming in here who's going to make you really feel like, I knew it. You know what I mean? I knew it. I knew it. You know, it's like it alleviates your doubts. It alleviates your doubts. There's a certain level of trust you have right now about how things are unfolding for you. There's also this piece about you really owning your own fire too. You're taking the initiative in your life. And as you take the initiative in your life, I see you shooting for a target. And I feel like this is something that you're dusting off and you're finally focusing on it. And I think once you take that initial action of actually setting this in motion, you're really going to find that it all starts to click in place so seamlessly. And actually, it's kind of ironic because if you would have started on it earlier, like you could have already been there. That's what I got. But there was a really important reason for going down the journey you went on, you know. That was an important side quest, let's say. What's this crossing energy here? Yeah, look at this. Knight of Wands in reverse, okay? So something is moving in here rather impetuously. I feel like it's coming in hot. That's how it's kind of coming in here. It's coming in hot. It's coming in hot in the sense that it's like it's got some fire under its butt, whatever this is. There might be a little bit of something that comes in here in such a way where it's almost trying to goad you on or have you act really rashly or, you know, sign on the line for some, you know, new venture or opportunity. It's got that kind of like, it's got a salesman sort of vibe, I have to say. It reminds me of somebody maybe finessing a little bit, you know, it's like, it's a good hard sell, but, you know, it's got that, you know, get it now while it lasts, you know, it's like clearance sale type energy. Isn't that interesting? That's the way it's coming through, like clearance sale, like last offer, you know, it's got that vibe. Like there's coming in here some opportunity to move forward with something, okay? But it's like somebody's really got their pedal to the metal. It's like they got the gas on and they want you to like act quick here. You're going to have a lot of questions. You have a lot of doubts about moving forward with this. It's somebody else's vision is kind of what's coming through here. It's somebody else's vision and how they see you fitting into that. All right. And so there's something here you need to study a little bit. Don't lose sight of your vision. Okay. This just came in. Remember what you're supposed to, you know, dust off, take off that shelf and start really putting some tangible energy into. In regard to that, what you need to take off the shelf and dust off, it's funny, there might actually be a clue on a shelf somewhere. It's something that's been gathering dust. You put it there a while ago to remind yourself of a certain focus. You might come across something in your environment in that way that makes you go, oh, I remember. Okay, you know, it's interesting. Maybe that's why things have felt like they've been like a little off or maybe not moving forward as quickly as you thought they would. You might still be investing too much time, energy into something that's actually meant to be sort of like released to the South Node, you know? This is in reverse here. This is like putting a lot of time and energy in something that maybe needs to go through some kind of transformation. Maybe whatever you put on the shelf there needs to really be brought into this to turn it around. Or perhaps it is a complete like directional reroute here before you can move forward with this. Because to me, it does look like that kind of like Wheel of Fortune energy. Something you're meant to move forward with, but maybe you've been kind of like doing something, investing too much time or energy in a certain approach or a certain aspect of something, and maybe you've had a lot of ideas about how you could be a little bit more innovative with it or some way to expand upon it or improve it or a side project that connects to it in some way, okay, something like this, but you sort of just put it aside and you've just been, you know, sort of just steady paced, building something here, investing your energy in something here. I think you also might have been dealing with sort of like flighty people too. I think this can be both in regard to just your experience in business, you know, people you work with, or there might have been sort of like a time of instability with your work or unpredictability, you know, where you just weren't sure how things would balance out. But they just felt like they were really moving slow. You might have been trying to recover from some losses. I could see that too. And it was just sort of taking some time. But I also feel that there's this piece coming in here about there's something that you're doing right now that you know it needs revision or it needs an update or the focus needs to shift a little bit. And it's the thing that actually opens everything up. And I think you know this. It's that you've prioritized other things. There's something about getting your priorities straight here and not losing sight of your vision. You could have been a little bit distracted too, just from outside energies, sort of like pulling your attention, different challenging situations you were trying to navigate. And so maybe you were a little burned out with that. I would say, if you have somebody coming around that has an opportunity for you and they feel like they have to put like a lot of pressure on for you to like jump in right now when you already got a lot you're kind of focused on and working on here, it's okay to ask questions. It seems reasonable to have some doubts in that area. Let's see what this is about, because I'm trying to understand what are they wanting Libra to move forward so quickly on here. We got the Queen of Cups to the Five of Pentacles. What is this Queen of Cups with this Five of Pentacles? Give me more details about this. Water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Ooh, that just fell on the ground. Bottom of the deck. Again, the King of Wands is back there on the bottom of the deck. So this fire sign is sort of the root of the matter here. What fell down on the floor, what was tossed aside was the Four of Wands, okay? This might be coming through as somebody who feels like you shouldn't be quite advancing in a particular direction. They feel like they know a better way for you to direct your energy, your attention, what you should be investing in here. They feel like you could be making a lot more progress, that you could be making a lot more money. They may even give you some kind of like guidance or suggestions about things you need to shift or change that will kind of elevate you above some challenging influences or some competitive influences, maybe competitive in your field. This is an interesting energy to me. I feel like they think that there's something here that they can offer what you're investing your time and energy in. But what's kind of interesting to me is I feel like you've already kind of come into alignment with the vision of what's required here. I think there's something here that you need to kind of keep close to your chest here. I wouldn't be so quick to open the door to have somebody getting their hands involved in whatever you're developing here. There's something you've been working on here. There's something that you got a specific vision about. And I feel like you're just about to get on track with this, but it's almost like there's some kind of offer coming in here to partner on whatever you're building here. And this person has some like self-professed expertise in this area. Maybe they do work in this field or something like this, but there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure for you to kind of like, jump on this bandwagon. That's kind of how it's coming through for me. I feel like there's aspects of this that you need to have more thorough understanding of. You should ask a lot of questions. I don't think this has to be a compromising situation in any way. I think you'll be able to like amicably talk about whatever this is and sort things out. this person feels like maybe they can promote what you do, or they can, help get you a greater reach, maybe expand that network. Okay. They feel like they know how to get things moving quicker for you in this regard, and get the word out there about your services that you offer, the kind of work that you do, whatever this is. I don't know though. I mean, I don't know why I keep getting this, but when I look at this, it does make me think of the Wheel of Fortune, and it's in reverse here. I almost feel like if you take this advice at the promise of like rapid growth, it actually doesn't really work out for you. I feel like it more leads to reversals, It leads to Five of Pentacles, right when you were at that point of about to come into the Four of Wands, come into alignment. And there's something here. I think maybe this person might have an approach that is very much like kind of outdated in a way. Like, yeah, maybe that used to work, but things operate differently now and people want something different. I feel like whatever you're working on, you have a specific vision for it. Whatever you're doing here, it's different. It's different. It's innovative. It's not how things have been. And there's something here that I think you should really like develop for yourself. Okay? Develop for yourself. Whatever you're developing here, do it independently. Okay? That's coming in really strongly. Give me some more details about this, please. Yeah, the Hanged Man here. Whatever this is, it'll hang you up. You could be dealing with a Pisces in regard to this, because we did have the Queen of Cups come out, okay? Could be dealing with the 12th house, right? So there's something here. I feel like if you align with this person, whoever this is coming in, on this project, on this opportunity, or let them get their hands in your business and start tinkering with things, you'll be on the losing end of that. This is something for you to focus on, right? And this person may have, like I said, that finessing energy came in. So they might have their own designs. You know what I mean? There's something you do need to be aware of here. It says here, desire for knowledge. Yeah, they want to know, what are you up to? What are you developing here? That's what I feel, right? There's something, there's something here to be aware of. It says here, protects from liars, evil spells, and bad spirits. Okay. So yeah, there's something here. It's like the energy of the offer is tainted. It will hang you up. It'll keep you stuck. Maybe this is something that's kind of coming back around again. It could be a South Node matter. This could be something that you did indeed wrap up. You realize like this is not what I want to align with. This isn't going to get me where I need to go. You may have had to drop a partner on something. You may have had to drop some kind of involvement that you were initially like welcoming in a project and really head off in a new direction. You also may need to innovate it in some way. Maybe make it almost revamped. It's like I feel like you're taking something off the shelf that you put aside for a while. You're dusting it off, but you need to put a little bit of a new spin on it. Yes. Because look at this, Page of Cups, okay? There's this water sign energy again. And you see they're holding up a sword there. So there's like, I don't know why, but I got like this piece here about is, again, it says protection from one's enemies. Pisces house, 12th house, that is the house of karma. It is the house of hidden enemies. I mean, this looks like whatever this is that's kind of coming in, it's coming through as an opportunity, but I do feel like it will hold you back. It will hold you up. It will keep you in the South Node. Don't think that something could be different this time around. It won't be. I really feel that very strongly. You should stay the course with this. I think the approach is because there's a desire to know what you're up to. And I would question why that desire is there. Let me tell you, look at this, Three of Pentacles. You shouldn't work with this individual. Straight up. That's what that means. Okay? So if you did make a judgment call in regard to this and you cut off like some partnership, somebody you were developing something with, okay, this could even be a relationship, you know, in some cases. You know, we got that Four of Wands energy. So, you know, this could be somebody that maybe you needed to distance yourself from. That could be somebody you were working with, somebody you were developing something with, you know. It could be somebody that, you know, you were considering entering into a relationship with of any kind of significance, or you had a significant connection with this individual. But there is something here about partnering on something, and it's tangible. I think you made the right judgment call with that, where you chose to move away from that. All right. So this is kind of sort of revealing the South Node energy here. Let me do a cut of the deck and see what we got. Two of Pentacles. Yep. This is balanced out. Okay. So something's been balanced out here at the South Node. I think you're ready to move forward. It does say fortune and fame here. So I do feel like you're coming into a place of harvest. You know, there's something you've been working on hard here. You devoted a lot of energy to it, and it's paying off. And, you know, I think there might be the desire for some people who maybe didn't, you know, end up really being in sync with you, or for one reason or another, you just felt like, no, it's not the right for me to partner with this individual for whatever reason. I feel like that's a wise call. You know, it really does feel like that. I feel like whatever you're developing here, your network will expand, right? There's some kind of ripple effect happening here where you've balanced out what you needed to balance out. If you've been having any questions about your judgment calls, you shouldn't. It looks like you made the right choices in these situations. You're free to move forward here. And there's something about letting other people, you know, kind of carve their own way. Yeah, look at that, because the Seven Swords energy, you know, it's almost like it's that energy, Libra, where it's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I really do feel like you need to make sure that with everything that you've been balancing out and all the work you've been doing and the way you've been investing yourself on your path, you need to make sure that, you know, you don't put yourself in a position where just as you're about to, you know, get your victory wreath because you overcame everything that was holding you back, you allow yourself to sign on to something because of a soft spot, or, you know, you want to believe that, you know, this can actually work out despite, you know, the shifty stuff that happened back there with the Seven of Swords, you know, and you allow yourself to be a pawn. And I don't think this is time for you to, you know, step into that role. All right. Let's see what Goddess is presiding over your energy as we enter this year of transformation, and just how things are going to be really highlighted here. Yeah, I mean, compassion. I do feel this, you know. I think there is that present, you know. It's not about having judgments about anybody. It's not about anything other than just staying true to yourself and your path at this time. And I think you're in this place where you're not holding on to resentment. I don't feel like you got any regrets. I feel like there's this piece of, you know, it's just time for you to kind of fulfill a certain purpose. And this particular stretch requires that you follow it alone. There's something that you're meant to experience here. It's very deeply personal to each of you, what is happening over this year, okay? It's like a real long walk home. I know that'll make sense to you, Libra. Finally feel like you're heading to that place where you really belong, you know. And for a long time you've been searching, and have always kind of felt like, you know, I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I don't know what feels right, you know. And you've been waiting for that. I feel like you've been waiting for that moment to come in where you're like, yeah, it feels right. It feels right. You know, it's firing on all cylinders. It feels right. This is something that can really get me heading into that direction that does feel like it's on lock. Like this is where I'm meant to be. I feel like more and more you've been coming into that place, but there's something here. There's something you left behind. There's something that you put on the shelf. There's something that it's there. It's still lingering. It's something you need to complete. You need to actually follow through with this, because I do feel like it's like, yeah, there's something here that is ready to be transformed. You're not meant to just have it sitting there on the shelf. It's time to actually, clear away all this sort of like superfluous stuff, so you have space to focus on what really matters right now. There's stuff that's taking up a lot of your awareness that it doesn't need to be taking up so much of your awareness. There's much more productive, beneficial ways for you to direct your focus right now that will actually get you moving forward in a very progressive way. Okay. And this is what needs to be cleansed away here. It is time for a cleansing, detoxification of your body and mind. Right. So check out the vessel. Is it fit for the voyage? Seriously, you're going to need to have energy for where you're going. I got that. All right. So make sure that you're taking really good care of yourself. Make sure that you have the energy you need to fulfill what you're getting ready to step up into. I do feel like you're going to be busy. You're going to be busy. I think you're heading into a very productive period. I think it's going to feel very progressive. I think it's going to feel good, but it's also challenging, and it does require a lot of you. And I think there's a need to really take care of the health. Make sure also that you're mindful about who you're connecting with. What kind of conversations are you having? Don't let your head get filled with junk. And don't listen to naysayers, and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with positive influences, encouraging influences. Make sure that you're staying focused on what matters, staying focused on the right things, and not wasting time and energy on stuff that only like anchors the energy, because you really need to like keep your energy moving into that expansion right now. It's really important. You might want to look at going on some type of cleanse too, just like really getting the inner health in a place where I got like something going on maybe with the digestion. There might be something that still needs to be addressed with, digested. That you haven't digested yet. Okay, there is something that maybe does still need to be looked at. Maybe you've been really busy, okay, and you do need to slow down for just a moment to look at what may need to be released, because I do feel like you're in this clean slate energy, but there is something that could potentially hold you back. It may be this coming through. There might need to be like some clearing out here with a particular person. I do feel like you're hearing from somebody, but there's something that needs to be shifted here. You might need to get a new viewpoint in a situation. I also think that it's time to really just be at peace in situations where you close cycle on a connection or on an opportunity or a path that you thought you were going to head down. It's really time to just like be at peace with that decision and drop the processing. I feel, allow your focus to really come into the present moment and allow yourself to just respond spontaneously to what comes into view. I think that you're going to find that that opens up so many opportunities for you, because I feel like the more that you can stay out of your head and instead you can be in that place of just being totally instinctually driven, and moving in harmony with the moment and whatever shows up on your path. Like, don't get too hitched to plans right now. because I feel like things are going to unfold in such a way where you really are going to be guided, like step by step. It's got like a chain reaction kind of vibe, but you could miss your link up points if you're too distracted on stuff that doesn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we have Kali and it's endings and beginnings, and she landed on the floor here. It says the old must be released so the new can enter. Okay, so there might be like part of you that is kind of keeping yourself a little held back here because, you know, maybe you're holding yourself to an old standard. Remember, there's something, whatever you're working on, it needs innovation. Like there's something you need to do a little differently, or something you need to reprise in a new way. It may have been something to do with a partner, something you were partnering with somebody on before, but now it needs to be revisioned in such a way that it's about you having this creative power in your hand too. Like, what world do you want to create for yourself? What does that look like? And maybe focusing more on your independent vision for a while here, and understand that there's something that comes in here that actually does support the collective. That's interesting. It's like sometimes if you're so focused on what everybody else wants in a situation and you're trying to weigh up their needs, their desires against your needs, your desires, or your inspirations, what inspires you, then it can cloud the vision, you know, because you have to, in some ways, you start compromising your vision. I do feel this piece, like you got a memo, like spirit told you, like, this is what you need to do. You know, it came through as an inspiration for you, something you know that is part of your purpose here, something you need to do. I really feel like Libras have come into alignment with their purpose. Like they know what the purpose is. They know what they're meant to align with. They know where they're going. They just have been trying to understand how to get there and how to clear certain obstacles out of the way. And having to do that, you know, balancing out where they look inside and, you know, look at where they are the obstacle. And so there's been a lot of real deep inner assessment too, and just that usual kind of checks and balances Libras do to find that place where the way opens up, you know, through them to move forward. And I do feel like there is something here that is ready to come to bloom. I think you keep thinking maybe that there's something else you have to complete, and the reality is it's already completed. It's balanced. I mean, this message is coming through. Like if you're wondering if there's anything that's chaining you to this particular post where you feel like you're in some way indebted to the past, you're not. Like this is balance. And you have to just release yourself from that obligation. Understand it's okay to follow your vision at this time. There's a lot that blooms from it. No mud, no lotus. And a lot of times too, that's also about releasing regret around the way things went in the past or questioning things. But I really truly feel that Libras in general are at this place where you feel ready for that. Like you do feel that. You feel that there's been a real sense of completion. And I sort of feel like you've been integrating that for a long time, and maybe you've been waiting for the next thing to come in. But the reality is you were already given the thing. You just put it on the shelf. That thing, get to it. It's what you already got the memo on. You just haven't given it enough time and energy. Likely because, you know, at some point you might have been in survival mode, you know, or you were navigating really tricky territory. You were dealing with closing up a lot of, you know, intense cycles in your life, things that have been on the spin cycle for too long. And, you know, it was time to focus on that. And then there was the integration point after that, right? You had to kind of just let yourself just absorb it all once the dust settled. You know, people negate often that part of a healing process, but I feel like you're there. You know, it's time to move into the creative aspect of Kali. You know, Kali is not just about destruction, okay? She's also about creation. So I do feel like you're meant to come into this energy now where you really accept that, maybe having compassion for the way things rolled out too, just with that Kuan Yin message that came in the beginning, where you look back and think, yeah, that was a lot of mud back there that I had to slog through and that was thrown at me in some cases. But if you really think about it, it's like, yeah, but if I wouldn't have had the mud, there wouldn't be any lotus, you know? So there's something that's blooming here, right? It's giving you a different perspective. I feel like there's something here that's blooming for you that makes you realize that you did traverse that divide. You're no longer, you know, stuck in the South Node in the past. There's something coming in, I feel, with the new moon in Leo on the 4th of August here that will make you realize that it's time for the lotus. That's what I got. Something comes into a place of starting to reveal the jewel contained within. It makes me think of that jewel in the center of the lotus of the heart, because pink is often associated with the heart center as well as green. And I feel like this is like something finally releasing in your heart that allows you to receive. I think this has kind of been what's blocking the way, is that in the process of everything you've been through, there might have been a point when you had to get kind of self-protective. And unfortunately, that did have you put up some guards in some cases. And when you got your guard up, it can make it difficult to receive, even when life wants to pour into you. And so that does require like a letting go of anything that you're still holding in your heart, you know, so that you can really travel forward lightly, I feel, okay? There's something that comes in with that new moon that lightens something that's been too heavy on your heart for too long. It releases a burden. It makes you feel like, I got over, you know, that bridge. I did. I got over that troubled water. And now I'm really moving into this beautiful unfoldment of my future. There's a vision that's being activated here. It looks like a time of really coming into a state of awareness about the power of where you're heading now, and a gratitude and also compassion, for the past, and that things went down just as they did. So I like this energy. Okay. It's also, you know, your ability to really like cut off the nonsense, like cut off the stuff that is keeping you tethered to, um, any sense of questioning judgments once they've been called. I feel that you got to trust your judgment. Okay. You call the shots as you felt fit. And there's something about this, just because things don't turn out the way we think they will, doesn't mean that anything's gone wrong. The shots you called there were the right shots to call. You'll be happy that you made those choices, that you made those cuts with the way things, you know, pan out. That was your role to play. You know, this is like an ownership of the path. I really feel this energy coming in here. And look at this, see, white Tara, sensitivity. So I feel like you're in this place at this time where you are, you know, sensing everything that you're stepping into. I do think it's a time when you do need to really be aware of the energy that you invite into your space, that you really tend to these dreams. You tend to this beginning. How you begin really sets the stage of how the journey will unfold, how the destination will come into being. There's so much about entering into this new chapter of your life with a new level of sensitivity around what you invite into your space and how that feels to you, how it feels to you on an energetic level, being aware of how it feels to you, not feeling like you always have to sort of be the peacemaker or the mediator or stay in a particular role or position because that's what keeps everybody else kind of getting along. You know, you might have had to ruffle some feathers to really stay true to what you were feeling like was your truth that might have been at odds with others. All right. There is a piece here about having some compassion in your situation and remembering where you might feel, you know, a little rough edge around some stuff that went down, that everybody's got their own lessons, their own challenges. You know, you're all there to teach each other something. And it's not up to you, you know, to give others the memo. It's up to them to, you know, walk their own path, learn their own lessons, and be grateful for those lessons, okay? You will be becoming increasingly sensitive at this time. I do feel like you're about to get really tapped in. There's going to be a lot of guidance coming through for you that's going to line you up with the path you're meant to be on, how to get there, the steps you need to take. I just keep getting this message that it's about moving with spontaneity. When we move with spontaneity, that's when we're moving without a bias. It's when we're in our most pure essence. And there is something about that where you really need to get in your own energy and your own essence right now, because you are tapping in at this time. There is something that you are meant to activate, and it's part of your destiny. You know, that's what you're here to do, Libra. You're here to sort of like exemplify that and hold that energy down, you know, hold court for that for the collective as well. You know, this is a collective template here. So there's something to be mindful of here. It says you're becoming increasingly sensitive. Avoid harsh relationships, environments, situations, and chemicals. Okay. So it's understanding how everything you take in is affecting you. If somebody comes in and it starts to bring unrest into your life, if it starts making you feel on edge, you know, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, if it makes you feel frustrated, held back, it's either not the time to be in alignment with that particular individual or that opportunity, or it's just not where it's at for you. It's that simple. All right. There's something about really needing to be clear, you know, at this time and not take, and there right on the other side, there's the compassion. Okay. So there's a new sense of sensitivity that needs to come in here as well for what others you're dealing with may be feeling too, you know, and understanding that it may be difficult for them to feel like they don't have access to you, or they don't understand where you're at or what you're feeling or what you're going through, or they're not used to seeing this side of you. They don't understand where you're coming from. I don't think you do, Libra. You know what I'm saying? You're going through a lot of transformation at this time. It's been a long road. You know, I think you need to have compassion for yourself. And it's just the way it is. I think the compassion really is the way through, you know, compassion for yourself, compassion for others, compassion for the collective, you know, the challenges that everybody's moving through, and take it a little bit easier in that regard, and don't rush. Okay. If something feels pressurized, like this energy that's presenting itself here to, you know, jump on this opportunity, come on, let's partner on this right now, and you're not ready for that, you're not ready for that. Okay. Trust your own rhythm here. It's super important. I want to get out a Halloween oracle card to sort of represent the South Node energy. Yeah, look at this. Because there's somewhere you're going. Look at this. Bottom of the deck energy, hearth, happiness in our hearts and homes. You have this path that you're on, your North Node, that's going to lead you to that place where you have your fulfillment. Like, it's all been for a purpose. You may think that you went down a rough track and there was no rhyme or reason to it, but you're about to understand why the journey unfolded just the way it did. You know, there's something here that brings you to that place called home. You know, it's also like a little bit, I got like Wizard of Oz energy, where it's like, you know, you had the power all along. There's something that's being revealed to you here. You're finding where you belong, and you're also feeling a new sense of appreciation for it. There may be something very specifically connected around the home piece. Some of you may buy a home. Some of you may have something happen on the home front that warms your heart, and it really does make you feel like something's watching over you. There's some challenge that you've been facing, perhaps, and just finding that place where you belong, finding a community where you belong, finding that person you belong with. Okay, there's this piece of belonging coming in here. There's something coming in here that's a blessing. It's watched over, it's protected, it's for you. You're coming into alignment with it, and it's beautiful. So I think it's time, it's time to head down that track. And, maybe there's a little bit of a meditative piece coming through with that. Start relating to things that are in your environment and around you, and ask yourself, do I feel like I belong here? Does this feel like home? Does this feel in alignment with that energy of home? Have you thought of the word home? Have you thought of what home means to you? What does home feel like? Forget about, thinking about home in terms of material reality and, putting a structure around it with 4 walls and a roof. You know what I'm saying? What does home feel like? How would you describe it? And then maybe start looking at everything that presents itself on your path through that particular reality tunnel. Does this feel like home? Does this person feel like home? Does this work feel like home? Do I feel like home in my body? Does this opportunity, does it feel like home? Does it feel like, yeah, this is the place for me? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of an interesting meditation. There's something about that, right? Wherever this is that you're heading, it feels like home. Ooh. And it's Cauldron of Dagda action here. So you could be healing a very significant relationship as well. There's synergy here. There's healing here. There's creativity here. There's something that is really fueling the heart, okay? There's a point of fulfillment here that's coming in, and it's good, right? So I know some actions coming in, and wherever this leads, there's nurturing there, right? There's something here that is being healed, and it does bring a renewal in your life. It brings a rectification. There's some kind of transformation coming in here. I do feel like where you've had to walk away from situations or let go, I don't think you're sitting here feeling bitter about anything or holding grudge energy. I just think you're at a place where, you've released. You're respecting the true energy of love, which is freedom. You're giving others the freedom to do what's right for them and to make the choices they're making, and you're not resisting anything. You've come to a place of radical acceptance, even in cases where it's really challenging for you, I have to say, Libra. But I feel like ultimately, you're at peace. That's what it feels like. I don't think that you arrived there overnight. I think you went through places where it was really challenging, but then you sort of saw the way that was keeping you, attached to energy that didn't feel like home. I think that's really quite an interesting way to look at it. I've never looked at it that way, I might try on that lens for size and just see what it shows me. Interesting. Yeah, I love this. Ooh, okay. And it says here, see this? Rest in peace, man, with whatever, got left behind as a butterfly flies by the window. Yeah, this is transformation energy. Rest in peace, Rest in peace on the judgments you made. Rest in peace on what was released. Rest in peace on what chose to stay behind, or what you had to let go, or what let go of you. Dandelion seed head flying by the window there. Yeah, there's, the activation of a very special wish coming in for you. 5511 on the clock. There's a big change that comes in your life through just this perspective, this shift. Like, rest in peace. Unnecessary fear. Where you're going, there's nothing to fear. It's nothing but love, man, and where you belong. And it says here, the witch, the earthly weaver of the world. So I do feel like you've activated this alchemy. There's something you've transformed here. You really have transformed that energy of the South Node. You got that heat. You got what you need to get that cauldron of Dagda cooking. And you're going to cook up something that it doesn't just nurture you. It doesn't just fulfill you. The vision that's getting hatched now brings about more change than you can realize. It will have an effect. It's got, that spider web effect. You got clean slate here, So what you're stepping into, it's going to benefit more people than you know. I feel like it will benefit maybe even some people that did, kind of get left behind. I do feel like there is something coming through here where all benefit ultimately. All right. We got this strength card here. I think you feel the strength of what was in the past, and what it caused you to have to develop in yourself, what you rose up out of. I think you've been connecting with the strength of your ancestors, those who've gone before you. I also feel like where you maybe felt like you didn't have the power in the past to overcome certain challenges or release certain things, it was through the challengers on your path and the difficult experiences that you went through that you finally did have the strength to just be at peace with it, let it go. And this is what's bringing in your harvest, your sweetness and synergy in the fall. Okay, really look for this to come in the fall. I mean, this looks good, Libra. I have to say, it really does. I think I'm just going to get one more card. We'll get a super awesome future card just to cap it all off with an overarching theme. Bottom of the deck, we have the moon, full moon energy here, kindred energy coming in, expansion coming in, Jupiter in Gemini energy. Okay, so you could be hearing from somebody. There could be some kind of alignment coming in here, spirit blue, okay? There's something that's going to be coming in with the full moon in Aquarius on the 19th. It puts you in alignment with a particular vision. I think it's the start of a period of transformation. We are entering that year of transformation. Do look for that full moon to kick off your year of transformation. You might get some initial communication that comes in with the new moon, but I don't see you taking any action until full moon. Right around then, there's something that really supports you moving forward with a particular goal you have. Something comes into view. There's been a lot that has transformed to get you to this place. There's some kind of transformation you're going through before you lead up to that full moon in Aquarius on the 19th. There's something you're shedding here. There's something that still remains to be shed, something that still remains to be like cleansed away, purified, released, all right? It is something that you need to leave behind in the South Node, all right? Serpent energy with that. It could be a Scorpio. The serpent represents Scorpio in Native American birth totem astrology. We also got in the distance here, the wolf howling at the moon. So I think as much as you wanted to feel that sense of alignment with what felt like, that place of union, connection, harmony, that thing that you've been calling for, but it's always felt out of reach, like you would always be separate from it. That's coming into view here. You're going to find your path. And I do feel like there's some action you take. It's a very powerful action. It moves you forward very rapidly into your destiny here. And this looks really good. Okay. Somebody who feels like kindred could be a Sagittarius, cut of the deck. All right. So you're finding out what isn't home. and a message comes in that leads you to what does. Interesting, Libra. Stay tuned.